And so in order to use this setup, I have to show the system what all sides of the die look like. That way it will work with these kind of die. It'll work for different colors, different shapes. But then it'll also work for die with different insignia on the side. So it would also work for numbered die.
The ones that say
cool.
number 1, number 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, so it's pattern recognition kind of stuff.
Yes. So I set it up with the first face. And it works best when the die is somewhere in the middle there. That should be good. And then I say go. That's pretty good. So then it'll take a photo. Cool. It'll run some math. And it looks like it found it. So then it'll ask for the second face up.
Does it have to be in any order or just different ones?
You're supposed to put it in the same order that they show up. So you go from 1 through 6.
Okay, a sequence then.
But it doesn't really matter. Like, you'd still get comparable results even if you did it out of order. You'd still get the same kind of calculations. So then third face up.
I'm glad we made it so that I can slip out nice and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually one of the issues I've been running into, though, is that these foam pads are breaking down.
Are they?
So they stop,
Holding it? They're not holding it as tight?
or they're crushing one way, so it's no longer centered. Alright, so now it's asking for the third face. And there's a nice pretty picture of our third face. Okay.
Did you put any of the other foam on yet? Or replace it?
These are honestly the same ones we started
These are the
with.
originals?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
They've actually held up better than I thought.
Alright, fourth face.
Suppose you fed it an octagonal thing, 8-sided.
It wouldn't like that so much. Currently what I have it set up to do is take a photo and then from that photo, pull out the most definite square in a certain dimension. So it automatically tries to
Okay.
find something rectangular, or something square within
Sure,
that
yeah,
fragment.
okay.
So it wouldn't like that too much. That being said, this could readily be expanded to work with something like that.
100-sided die.
100-sided
Oh,
die.
yeah.
I suppose the dodecahedron-
But actually, not too bad.
Actually, I think the problem with the 100-sided die is getting it to stop rolling.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
settle on a...
and you can't have
On an
equal
empty-
size. The Icosa dodecahedron is the biggest. You can do 20 sides, I think. But I don't know that that's a game piece from anywhere.
And side number
Now there's
6.
100-sided dies.
100?
There are.
Really?
They're essentially almost like a golf ball. And they just have little flat
Yeah.
spots all over.
Yeah, okay.
And so now it would be ready to test, but I want to do a quick check to make sure everything is working well behind the scenes. So, yeah. Wait, what? Okay, yeah, that's right. So all of those photos that would take, like, that's the wrong one. It's also the wrong one. Is this one? Yeah. So it would take a photo like this,
Yeah.
and then it would create this library of images where it's cropped it around whatever face it detects. So hopefully everything in this library here,
It also
Shows.
spins it, right?
well, this is just explaining how it's doing the image detection. It's finding the faces in here.
All the permutations of one that's lined up correctly.
Yeah. So it gets 4 different rotations for each side.
Yeah.
So in the case where you're using something with actual numbers on the sides, it'll still work. But yeah. And thankfully that all worked very well, so I'm pleased with that. Yeah, and so now it's asking me to hit go to start testing. And this might be a little bit off center, so I might have to fiddle with that as it goes. I've also noticed that it likes to get caught in this near corner here, so I kind of tip it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But then when I hit the go button, runs a whole bunch of calculations, tests it against everything in that library, and it found that the result was 6.
It says the result is 6. That's awesome.
That's cool.
So at the rest position, the bottom thing should be flat, is that right?
Yeah, like this needs to be
Level.
flat when it ends, otherwise it will not find it. But yeah, there I found 5. This little bit started to come on. Result is 1.
Did you bring over the weighted die?
That's right there.
Okay.
Now it's going to test that one.
Ooh, result is 2 again.
That one might not work. We'll see if it works. Almost. But yeah, and then it gives a chi value relating all of the data it's collected to,
That's the
or it's like a rough statistic for how fair the die is. So, ta-da!
Cool. Yay.
So it's 3.4.
Good job.
That's pretty solid, honestly.
Okay.
Like,
Cool.
when I was doing my original presentation and recording for this, I did, I think, 3 tests, and it came up with a value that was 16 or something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
So I think it hit the same value twice, and in that way, it was very unlikely that it was a fair die with that small
That
sample
small of
set.
a data set, it
So-
just statistically is like,
Obviously, you'll get better results the more tests you do. That's also assuming that it's A, giving you a truly random roll, and then also that it's correctly detecting what's in there. Like, it doesn't always work. But when it's in the middle of the box, you know, it gets a nice clean photo, it's pretty darn solid. So.
Cool.
What would you do to
Very
make
cool.
it better, more reliable, faster?
Some things I've been thinking about. I think my rolling mechanism is overly complex. Like, as much as I thought that simply doing a flat tumble roll, so simply doing something like this, as much as I thought that would be too predictable, I feel like if I just ran it enough, it would be good enough for testing purposes, for proof of concept. That would have made my life a lot easier. That would have also made things relating to the servo a bunch easier. Other things I'd like to play with, I would like to readjust where the camera sits, because if I could put that higher up, then I wouldn't have to worry so much about where the die ends up in the box. Another alternative is mounting the camera underneath, and then just having some translation inside the code to relate whatever's on the bottom of the die to the top of the die. That was the main reason I didn't go with that approach initially, because you know, if you're taking a photo from the bottom, you're not seeing what's on top, you're seeing what's on the bottom. That's not your roll result. And so that's why I decided on the camera mounting up top. But it did make my life a lot harder. So that might be a good redesign in the future. What else?